Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you. I appreciate you guys. So we are on Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, we're getting ready to do your reading. It's been a minute. So, oh wow, you got the same thing as Sagittarius guy. It just flipped out. Family. I just got done doing their reading, and there's a lot of stress right now in the family or tribe or community. And I drew the card for the weekday. I'm not sure when I'll draw a new one, but it was stress, and it's about not letting the little things get to you and realizing that you only have control over yourself. The more we stress out, the more chaotic things get. So there's a feeling here of needing to not, for everybody, this is not just for you guys, but just not stress over the control of things, especially right now. We got a lot going on. I was just saying this for Sagittarius. We got a lot going on in the sky right now. We got a lot of shifts, a lot of stuff happening that we have no control over except for ourselves, our grounding, our center, and that is what this is. It's the root chakra. It's about grounding and being present and centered. Maybe in your family, or maybe you're doing some root work. Maybe you're looking at your community, your tribe. This also came through with Sagittarius as maybe trying to find belonging outside of themselves when really deep down they just want that feeling of peace and belonging within. But we will get more for you guys. I will read the chakra for the we'll use some more of this grounding oil for you guys. This is some oil I had gotten quite some years ago off Amazon, but it is helpful at times like this when we're going through a lot of shifts and a lot of changes. A little extra medicine from Mother Earth. Oh, and it smells really good, you guys. And you know, some tea or some oils, some candles, something to just relieve any stress or any scatteredness you're feeling right now with this fire energy and this Neptune and just all this stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. We just had that solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. It's a lot. So let's go ahead, and I just want to read the short for this family. It says, all living things on the great earth have at least one thing in common. We all come from a family. We have been brought into the world by living beings before us, and many of us will bring new life into form while we are here. Within this great evolving cycle of life, which is shared by plants, animals, and humans alike, we each have the living gift of playing our part. This card calls you to return to a sense of genuine connection to who you are and where you are from, to honor and explore the energy of family in the truest sense of the word. Not only your immediate blood-related family, but others on your path, in your heart, and in your distant past, who, like many twigs and sticks of this nest, have played unique roles in the weaving together of your life, dreams, and experiences in this world. You may wish to visit your parents or the town you live in. You may like to research your family tree or call on a gathering of elders to share stories and wisdom from their path. You may feel drawn to respark certain traditions, ceremonies, or celebrations. This card encourages you to navigate the beliefs you have acquired from your family and culture. Decide what fits and what doesn't fit into your life. Also, from the things you've been taught from your childhood. If you are older, you might be doing some inner child work. You might be doing some root work, really digging into those things that you are proud of about your family, and maybe things that you aren't as proud of, and deciding how you're going to associate your energy to those things, or if you need to release that. This is a time to release those negative ties, energetic ties we have to old systems, and that includes family systems, all systems. Just really find where our heart center is, where we are in all that. So that is a nice card to get started, you guys. So let's go ahead and do this little prayer, and then I will pull your guys' cards. All right. Thank you, Spirit, for your guidance, protection, and unconditional love. I'm grateful for all known and unknown, seen and unseen divine energy guiding, allowing, and protecting us as we receive these messages with an open heart and mind. I pray these messages of healing and protection reach those who need them and those who will fully embrace and express their own divine energy for the highest and most loving good. As we walk on the path of love, healing, and redemption, may your healing light touch, taint, and transmute all darkness with understanding, compassion, and faith in the holy light of love. Amen. Hello. All right. Okay, so we are going to be, I'll get you guys a few cards here, then we're going to pull a couple oracles. I do got the blind spot deck out. Right now I feel like we're doing the blind spot readings because as much as we are needing to release stuff here, and we are needing to move the Magician. Creation mode, recreating something here, creating yourself. Maybe you were transforming or changing your belief systems or your community or the way you interact with your community. It does seem to feel like you may have been experiencing a little feeling maybe left out or not supported, maybe by your family, your community, your friends, your tribe. Maybe you're feeling left out of something here, and it's left you feeling stressed. And this is a theme today through the Nine of Swords. Is just stress, it's anxiety, it could be guilt, it could be shame. You know, somebody you could have, there's a feeling here of either having needed to reach out for, and also I see this as like recognizing your own worth or value in, and making the choice also to get yourself the extra help or support somebody in their hard times, you know. So it feels like either you feel like maybe you weren't supported, or you haven't maybe been supported or supportive of maybe a family or friends or a tribe or community. And you could be feeling a lot of stress and anxiety about not being there for somebody, or people not being there for you. You could be feeling very alone, anxious. You could be holding something to yourself that feels like it's challenging. It's challenging to release these swords. This is all mental energy, the Nine of Swords. It's so much thinking and stressing out about just everything. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, didn't. And maybe having had missed maybe an opportunity to become a part of something, or to be a part of a situation. You know, there's the church window here. These people are outside the church. It's freezing cold. They are not going in, but they're looking. The one is looking, you know, in like, oh, I want to go in there. Then you have to make the choice to go be a part of that community or that family. There could be something here you're mentally holding yourself back from being a part of. Also, I just got this deck, but it's really neat. There's all these zodiac and planets stuff. There's this very astrological stuff going on the comforter, and it's telling me there's a lot going on for you also in your chart, your birth chart. So please check that out. This could be why you're not sleeping well. This could be if you're not sleeping well, there's something keeping you up. It could just be the extra energy going on, and there are ways to help cope with that energy, whether it's soft music, like I said, candles, grounding, oil, tea, anything, warm bath before bed, stuff like that. So this is feeling like there could be some stress here. And we got the Chariot, though. This is saying, you know what, where there's a will, there's a way. If you're trying to get through something here, or you're maybe regretting something here, maybe feeling some regret or some anxiety, some stress over, it feels like maybe not, a feeling of not belonging, a feeling of maybe not being a part of something that you are a part of, you know, maybe leaving yourself out of something that you are a part of. It's saying where there's a will, there's a way. The Chariot is all about your mind, your focus, and your will to move forward and to get past whatever this anxiety or these obstacles are, and really create the life and the tribe and the family and the situation you want in your life. You could just be feeling stuck right now, kind of alone. It feels like you could be feeling kind of lonely. If this is your reading and it resonates, we all have been there. You're not alone. But it is saying you need to move forward with the mental here. You need to get past this mental blockage. It's the Nine of Swords, so it is towards the end of the Swords energy. You are almost, you need to have like that one big breakdown or something. I always call it like my you know, that Ten of Swords is like that, like bathing in your own tears kind of thing. It's like, oh, and just releasing it all and saying, you know what, I got to get back up and I got to keep going, no matter how much like I'm feeling or I'm thinking about this. And this is way overthinking too. You could be really overthinking some kind of situation, or maybe you are overthinking, like maybe you're feeling extremely guilty about something, maybe not helping somebody, or maybe you feeling like, hey, I should have took this opportunity, or I shouldn't have passed up this opportunity to receive help or to better myself, and I did, and now here I am stressed out and feeling like overwhelmed, and it feels like lonely. But Chariot's here. This is energy helping here to support you moving forward. It's saying you have all the power. You have all the power. Nothing, only what you're allowing to take your power from you is taking your power from you. We do have control over what takes power from us, what takes our energy. what we give our energy to. If you're giving your energy to a lot of anxious thoughts, stress, overthinking, then that's where you're giving your energy to. This is what's in the center here, so you could be feeling really stressed out about some things right now. But with a simple, not so simple, but kind of simple, just saying, hey, I'm done with this. I'm moving forward past this. Whether this is a situation, it could have been even an argument or disagreement with family, tribe, friends, something like that, where you're feeling a lot of maybe even guilt, shame, anxiety over either leaving somebody out of something or pulling yourself away from something. But it's saying time to move forward. Chariot's here, moving forward. You are the one with control over your sword, your wand, your cup, and your pentacles. So only using your tools to create something that's good for you, that feels good, that you want in your life. You know, if you don't want these kind of feelings, you've learned something. There's always lessons with all the swords, but especially the 9 of Swords. It's like, you know, you can only stay in this position so long before it's just, you gotta just let it all go, let it all fall to the ground, and just get back up and say, you know, I'm not going to carry these thoughts with me anymore. They aren't doing me any good. I need to move forward. I need to make something happen here, not just sit here and stress about it or overthink about it. So that is what I'm getting from that. All right, that's really interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get this Illuminated Light Oracle for you guys. There we go. Sacred moments. I love that because his eyes are shut and he almost seems to be praying. This does feel like when we're at this energy, sometimes the best and only thing left to do is to pray and to surrender to the moment, the experience, the lessons, like I said, to kind of fall apart, kind of like have that like tears, have that breakdown and cry, and then get back up and go, okay, on with my life. Like this says, seize sacred moments to experience precious revelations in life. Sacred, precious revelation. So any time you have right now, rather than overthinking or sitting there just overthinking or stressing about something, take it as a moment to pray and find that space within you that says, oh, I see where, you know, the lesson is in this, or what I could have chosen differently, or where I'm neglecting myself or others in a situation. There is something here that feels like heavy, but it feels like you can move past this, but you have to take the quiet moments that you have and not overthink in those moments. Just tap into your heart, tap into your soul and say, what do I want to experience? What do I want to create right now? Do I want to create more stress and anxiety and stuff I have no control over? Or do I want to create peace and quiet and self-love right now when I need it the most? I am getting that from that card, so that's another message. All right, let's go ahead and get one from the angels and ancestors. Wise prophet. I love that. Foresee the path ahead. I love this because it's really telling me that there's something here. Especially if you can just quiet your mind and tap into your own future wants, needs, your future creations. They're great, and there's something beautiful here. There's something you want that's bigger than what's bothering you right now. Like, it feels like you got a lot of I don't want to ever say energy's little because it can feel so big when you're in it, but there's a lot here going on that isn't necessarily, it's a chance to reflect on what it is you truly want and how you're going to get there. And you have to get there through putting your energy towards it and not the negative thinking, or if you want to be a part of something, you can't pull yourself away from it and then feel bad about it later. It's about getting in there and making something happen. I am getting that for your guys' readings and this wise prophet. There's something here you may even know if you can tap into those quiet moments and meditate on, you're going to see something for you. Maybe you're like, man, maybe you're trying to find that path forward. And during these quiet moments, instead of thinking, oh, that didn't work, or that didn't work, or that path didn't work, or that approach didn't work, maybe it's just about quieting the mind and seeing the way forward through your heart, through tapping in, through the higher wisdom, the wise prophet within you, the one that says, oh, this is what I really want in my future. And it comes from somewhere way deeper, where there could be something here that feels like there's so much strength and resilience in the Five of Pentacles also. This isn't just a card to me of weakness, it's a card of strength. But it's also stubbornness, you know? It's like being stubborn and saying, I'll do this on my own, or I don't need anybody else or anything else. If you need a community, a family, a tribe, that sense of belonging right now, you need to go make that happen. And there is something here I feel like you're meant to be moving towards and a part of, that you may be holding yourself back from, and maybe because of regret or some kind of just intrusive thoughts. I am getting that. So keep that in mind as you are moving through this energy, Capricorn, if this is your reading. So I did decide we are doing blind spot. Blind spot cards, when I first got this deck, you guys, oh, I hated it. Just starting with shadow work, it was really, really like dark, and I was like, oh my god, this is such a dark deck. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, but this is a beautiful sigil that you guys got. But we shall look and see. It's 33. But it tells us, and it may resonate, it may not. If it doesn't, just leave it for somebody else. But if it does, and really with these, you have to be really honest with yourself and say, you know, it's not an immediate, oh, I reject it because it's a blind spot. I don't have blind spots. We all have blind spots. We all have those things about our character, our self, that we don't necessarily see, but it's kind of good to look at in an honest way so we can change it, work with it, figure out, hey, this is a part of me that I don't want to be living from subconsciously. So these are usually very unconscious or subconscious, even deeper than that. You know, this could be stuff from deeper roots, but this usually behaviors and attitudes that come from a way deeper place that we aren't even aware of. And it could be a feeling of not feeling worthy, or not feeling like you belong anywhere, not feeling like you can go any further with a group, a family, a community, but there's something bigger here for you that I feel like you do want to be a part of. You just got to find that quiet stillness to tap into it. I love that because it looks like a little star, a little plant in here. So I'm really excited to read this, but I do love this deck now. But I can tell you, if you aren't ready for blind spots, you can feel like defensive, but if you're feeling defensive or you're feeling triggered by these cards, you guys, there's something there to look at. If it just doesn't resonate, then you ain't gonna feel defensive about it. It's just me. It's just not for me, which is fine. It may be for somebody else, but if it is for you, do take these cards to heart, because they do have a lot to offer. This advice has a lot to offer. Oh, I was feeling this shame. I was feeling that, like there's some kind of feeling of not feeling worthy or good enough to be, like you could be feeling ashamed of a choice you've made in a family situation, in a tribe situation, in a community, and you could be really eating at you. You could be feeling really guilty and ashamed, but also it could be holding you back from really. Maybe you're not admitting that to yourself. Maybe you're not admitting that you feel shame because, oh, if I admit that I feel shame, that means I'm a bad person. We all feel shame when we do make choices that hurt others or hurt ourselves, hurt everybody, or just it's unmoral or unjust. We're human, you guys. And I think the biggest thing I am bringing from my energetic place with where I'm going with all this energy is I want people to understand we're human, and that's okay. And we are very, very flawed. We're very, very flawed, but there's so many strengths we have as humans to overcome, to grow, to evolve, to just be better, you know. And that's where all of these gifts and opportunities are for us. But there is no shame or guilt in being the creature, the human we are, and learning and growing from it. There's only shame when we don't. We will feel the shame even if we want to change and transmute energy and become better people. We'll still feel shame and guilt about our past and things. But really, if it's holding you back from being who you're meant to be and what you meant to learn, you learned, then it's only holding you back, and it's not a strength. Shame, guilt, it all can be positive too, because if we didn't feel that stuff, we wouldn't want to change those things about us to make us more kind human beings. That's the truth. But this says shame, and I was feeling that shame, guilt with the Nine of Swords. This is always a card of feeling, oh my gosh, I like hate myself right now. Like I hate to say that, but it's like a feeling of just overthinking and just getting down on yourself, and probably for choices you've made, or even thinking things that just aren't nice, or but saying there's only one way out of this, and that's mind over matter. You got to put your will and your way into it and face the music here. That's the Chariot. Face what is holding you back and move forward energetically. It says, if you have drawn the sigil, you are not seeing or admitting to your shame. You need to attend to your shame. Shame is one of the most misunderstood aspects of social behavior. The reason for this is that most people think that shame is solely a mental and emotional response to self-diminishing experiences, beliefs, and thoughts. The truth is, shame is much more primal than that, and it's more debilitating. To understand shame, imagine a sea anemone. Anemone? If you poke a sea anemone with your finger, it will immediately pinch itself closed. This reaction happens at an instinctual level. You could be doing something instinctively for deep, maybe from roots, maybe from the way you were taught to maybe recoil aspects of yourself or hold back aspects of yourself. Or it's just a survival instinct that goes way deeper into, and that is the root chakra, when it is out of balance, is this survival instinct. It's like an impulsive survival instinct. It can be very ungrounded. It says to understand shame. Imagine, I already read that. Sorry. This reaction happens as an instinctual level. It happens without the sea anemone. I'm going to have to definitely figure that, how to say that out. Having to think about making it happen. It's an organic, biological, effective reaction. This visceral reaction is comparable to your fight or flight mechanism. Yeah, you could have flighted in a situation, or fight, flight. I also always say there's freeze and fawn also to those reactions. We'll either get closer to what we're scared of because we don't want it hurting us, or we will freeze and not be able to make any choice or decision, or we will fight, which is an aggressive response, or we will run, which is a passive response. And it really does root from deep kind of what we were taught, or the reactions that came from, we always test the waters, I think, when we're young to see what keeps us safe, or what keeps us healthier, or safer, more secure in our lives. And we end up kind of leaning into those responses, whether it's lying, sneaking, there's always, and it's like, running, hiding, pulling away your energy, shutting down, or fighting, we just learn certain things we need to dig into in our culture. And it could be cultural, it could be tribal, it could be your family, it just could be the environment you're in. But there's definitely something to look at here that's happening on an instinctual level that you could be feeling, and it feels like you could be deeply kind of thinking about this. It says you do not have to think about jumping out of the way of an oncoming car. When your body, whoops, I got a piece of hair here hanging down there. When your body perceives a threat, it reacts, and you feel that reaction. Shame is actually a primitive reaction encoded in your organism, just like your fight or flight mechanism. It's encoded in us. Isn't that interesting? There are only two basic energetic movements within this universe: to push something away and to bring something closer. It feels like you could have pushed something away and you want to bring something closer. You want to be closer to something, and instinctually you are pushing something away here. But it feels like there's more to this, and it goes a lot deeper. And it doesn't mean it's your fault or anything. It's just a deep biological thing here. It says when we see certain things, such as something we perceive as cute, it triggers an instinctual reaction to bring it closer. But when we see images of threatening things, it triggers an instinctual reaction to push something away. Love is an instinctual reaction to pull something closer to you. Fear is an instinctual reaction to push it away. And shame is an instinctual reaction to push yourself away from yourself. So I was feeling this at the beginning about when I was seeing this. You may not even be acknowledging or recognizing that you're pushing yourself away from feeling some, really analyzing your thought process, and maybe feeling like, maybe you aren't putting yourself into something, or maybe you are pushing away people, or maybe you're pushing yourself out of something you want to be a part of, and you aren't really even fully aware of where that's coming from, or there's a kind of it feels like you could be, the shadow work could be very important for whoever this is resonating with, because you could be pushing yourself away from using those quiet moments to take the lessons and take the self-reflection away from those moments to see forward. And you could be kind of keeping yourself stuck in the moment with a lot of thoughts and kind of keeping yourself away from doing the digging or the deeper work here, which has something to do with your roots and your tribe and your community. And there's something definitely going on there. It says fear is an instinctual reaction to push it away. Okay, of course you cannot actually do this, push yourself away from yourself, because your consciousness experiences a singular embodiment. The only way to push yourself away from yourself is through fragmentation. For this reason, we could say that shame is the mechanism for fragmentation as well as suppression. And shame creates internal separation. It makes you feel like you don't belong. It makes you feel like you're split in a million different directions and you don't know where you are in the mix. It says the number one need of the human ego is to see itself as good and have others see it as good. Shame is all about seeing oneself as bad and having other people see us as good. The number one enemy to the human ego is shame. Because it breaks us down, right? Because we have to admit to ourselves that I feel shame over this. I feel ashamed of whatever, this choice or this behavior or the way I've handled this or the way I've survived or the way I've, instead of just releasing that and saying, that feeling of shame is very natural for us. It's there to help us grow and learn, but we also cannot hold on to it. We have to recognize it's something we are meant to move past and grow from. We can't carry shame with us all the time. We have to know, I felt this shame. I learned from what the lesson was, or I learned what I needed to see in it, why I was feeling that way. And it breaks down when we admit, oh my gosh, I made this horrible decision, or I was a horrible person, which is just like way over dramatic, way Nine of Swords, like horrible person, horrible. You're just really, really blowing up a natural human process, natural process, into something that's personal. And I really feel like this isn't personal. This is something you need to see. Maybe part of your ego is getting broke down, and that's okay because we're so full of pride and we want to be seen as good. And maybe right now there's a feeling that you're not being looked at as a way you want to be looked at, a certain way, or a certain way you want to be seen or understood. But that's okay, because it's helping break down a part of your ego that may be unhealthy, so that you can be more relate to others and yourself in a more human, natural way, not this just pure like denial of our shame, our guilt as humans, and oh Lord have mercy. I mean, it's not an easy task, but it says the ego will cope with shame through all the classic coping mechanisms, which it does. It's all the escaping, all the running from it, all the distractions. Oh, I don't want to deal with this shame. I don't want to deal with this guilt. I don't want to deal with these decisions I made. I don't want to deal with the fact that I detached from this or this or this or this that I want to be a part of. So I'm going to keep myself busy, or I'm going to keep in my quiet moments. I'm going to keep the TV on in the background, keep the loudness going on, so that I don't have to deal with that and go deeper into this. It's, a way of kind of avoiding the deeper work. Not saying you're doing this. This is just something to look at. You may be needing to take that quiet time that you have to really dig into this. What I'm feeling is stress, guilt, shame, something about not either being a part of something, feeling left out of something. There's something deeper going on here. It says, by going into denial of it, deflecting it, rationalizing it, projecting it, suppressing it, splitting into alter egos, converting it into physical symptoms, overcompensating for it, intellectualizing it, isolating themselves, or self-injuring, for example. The thing that people deflect more than anything else is shame. Sometimes we'll just act like everything's fine, and it's really because we feel like really shitty about ourselves. Like shame is a real human thing, okay? And it's a real thing we need to work on and work through and deal with, and let it break down the idea of our perfect human selves. We are not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We can always be better, and we can always strive to learn more, do more, and just become more at peace with our nature, our human nature, and work on how that nature interacts and feels in its environment. How do we feel as we're going through all this? It says a mother can feel shame when her infant expresses negative emotions towards her. Heck yeah, all of us have experienced this if you're a mom. It makes her feel like a bad mother, but her ego can't handle that, and she deflects that shame into the infant. This is so true. I know I've done it. I know, if you have not experienced this, you're probably not being honest with yourself, because everybody has deflected their shame onto somebody else at one point or another. I'm pretty sure, unless you're pretty perfect, which I just, yeah, it's just not really reality. It says it makes her feel like, but her ego can't handle it, so she deflects it onto her infant. She decides the infant must have something seriously wrong with it. Yeah, like, you know, oh, it's the kid doesn't have good attention span, or the kid, you know, we've all done this. Like, oh, they just don't listen. They just don't pay attention because we didn't want to listen, because we didn't want to we didn't have the extra patience to listen or take our time to hear. So we just automatically assume, or not even assume, it's like deep down, but we have to slow down and take our time and realize, like, am I taking the time to see this as it is? Or am I immediately, like I have felt so much shame about not having the attachment that I feel people should just have, you know, like this really deep attachment to automatically you something that, and it does go to the roots. It does go deep, because you have to really look at where you were taught, the kind of attachment styles you were taught, what kind of communication skills you were taught. This kind of stuff is stuff we're not just taught, but we also carry genetically. So we can be experiencing those things in our lives, and we can feel a lot of shame and guilt about things that are actually just pretty natural to our environment or natural to our genetic makeup. But we need to look at that stuff so we can start to transmute it, start to change it, start to shift it. Especially if we are not being honest about what we're ashamed of or what we feel about ourselves. It says they can't handle the shame, so they decide that a friend is a horrible person. All of this is an attempt to avoid accepting and admitting to the shame we feel and working with it directly. Work with the shame or guilt that you feel if this is your reading, because it's going to be good. It's going to be a positive result after you get through the shadow work. After you get through it, you're moving forward, and it's going to make you a stronger person, and it's going to show you even more of what you want to be in your life and what you don't want to be in your life, and who you want to be. Badness in our human society is integrally linked to blame and fault. Recognize that, relative to the situation at hand, you may be blaming yourself for something. That something may or may not actually have been your fault. Either way, that self-blaming is coming from a baseline self-concept of shame. If you have drawn the sigil, you need to admit to your shame. Own your shame. For example, a man might feel defensive in a relationship. In a relationship, excuse me. Oh yeah. Okay. In a relationship argument about being emotionally available, he may tell himself that the woman that he is with is too needy. This happens too. He has deflected his shame onto her by making her the bad one in the situation. When he looks deep inside, it's like somebody may be trying to be deeper with you. And you're like, you're way too deep. You're way too, whatever, you know, and it's because there's a shame that you maybe aren't choosing to go there, or you just maybe aren't capable at this point of going there because you haven't admitted or saw, hey, I'm avoiding this for a reason. I'm avoiding this for some unknown. I need to dig into this and see, why am I avoiding this attachment, or why am I avoiding going deeper with this? Why am I avoiding my shadow work? Why am I avoiding my humanity and my imperfection? Why? You know, we need to ask ourselves why. Ask yourself, what do I feel ashamed of in this situation? What about the situation makes me feel like a bad person or defective and not good enough or wrong? You need to directly address and lovingly resolve whatever comes out of that questioning. Lovingly resolve. It doesn't mean, oh my God, I hate myself. You know, it means say, oh, I understand why you're, you know, go deeper into it and go, oh, you know, I do want to be a more loving or more, you know, available person, or I want to help more, or I want to be more attached to people in my life, or whatever this is regarding Capricorn. It's really saying you need to lovingly resolve whatever comes out of this questioning. What do I feel ashamed of in this situation? What about this situation makes me feel like a bad person or defective or not good enough or wrong? And then once you get to that, you'd be like, oh, I don't feel good enough because, you know, other people are better talkers than me, or whatever it is, you know, and you can really go, well, okay, that's something I just need to work on. And you can really show yourself a lot of compassion and understanding too, which helps a lot, because we are human. We were only taught what we were taught. We only have we're who we are, but we can really change those parts of us that we want to. It does require will. It does require focus, the Chariot. It requires that moving forward and facing our challenges with all of our might, all of our energy, all of our will to get through those feelings of feeling stuck. Okay, being the parts of yourself that you are ashamed of closer to you and include them. It says bring those parts of yourself that you are ashamed of closer to you and include them as a part of you. Yeah, like when you're dealing with, I know I've had to do this so much in my life. I've said it before in this channel, I'll say it again. I've been a drug addict. I've been an alcoholic. I've been a cheater. I've been a liar. I've been an abuser. I've also been on the other end of those things. I felt a lot of shame for being human and screwing up and making really crappy decisions and even more crappy decisions on top of crappy decisions. Let's just be real. It's not an easy road, but there's only one way to get better, and that's to talk about it, that's to acknowledge it, and that's to change it and shift the way we emotionally react or avoid, the way we include or not include ourselves in the work, maybe the community, maybe the family, maybe the tribe we need to be a part of in order to make a difference, or in order to to see that path ahead for ourselves. There is a path ahead for you. It's just, you got to find those quiet moments, say, what is it, and maybe it's just simply a path of healing. Maybe it's a path of redemption. Maybe it's a path of helping others. Maybe it's a path of maybe bringing community and tribe and family closer. Who knows what it is? This is a process. We're not meant to get all the answers overnight or tomorrow. It's a whole lifelong process. It says, if you have drawn this sigil, it will benefit you to spend time accepting in the energy of sigil 76, in the energy of 76, and coming to understand its message as well. So we're going to go to 76 real quick and just see what that energy is. And it is deflection. So not, if you're feeling a certain way, not deflecting it and putting it on somebody else. It can feel very, if somebody's in the situation, it can feel very like gaslighty. It can feel very, it says, to deflect something is to cause that thing to change direction by interposing something. This turns like deflecting, like trying to get on a different subject, or pointing out like something, there might be some constructive criticism, maybe not constructive criticism. Maybe somebody's saying something or making you feel a certain way, and you deflect by saying, oh yeah, well, what about when you did this? Or what about this? Or instead of really just saying, okay, you're entitled to say, feel how you, and I need to think about this. It's an instinction. It's an instinctual reaction when we deflect, especially coming from a place of shame or guilt or defensiveness. We get very defensive. And it says, this turns it off its straight course and into another direction, even back in the original direction it came from, turning it back around on them. And it says, this is probably could be when you're dealing with guilt or shame or feeling not worthy or not good enough for something. Think about how you could be possibly deflecting that back onto other people when you aren't feeling good enough, or you aren't feeling strong enough, or you aren't feeling brave enough, or whatever it is, or you aren't feeling, however it is. It's a very filling place. And it says deflection is when someone communicates to another, causes that person to feel triggered. As a result, instead of taking in the perceived criticism, they either ignore, deny, or turn away from it. We all do this, you guys. We are so guilty of doing this, but it's something we can work on. We can work on it together, and we can try to just be more understanding when people are doing this kind of work and trying to figure out, oh my gosh, why does this trigger me? Like, there's a really good book. I think it's Triggers, and he writes a bunch of books. Might have to look that up and leave the link, but it's really good messages and good advice in that book. I'm trying to remember the name. Maybe I will put a link in the thing for that, but it says, or worse, they turn it back towards the person who communicated it in the first place. This is done to avoid painful memories, emotions, and thoughts. But it also prevents the person deflecting the comment from being self-aware. So it stops them from becoming more self-aware about why they're reacting a certain way, or why they are deflecting something or another, or why they're feeling, but the only way to sleep better is to deal with your shames, your guilt, your humanity, your flaws, to admit, hey, I'm not perfect. This is a real journey, you guys. It's a real struggles, but real victories too in the end. Real feelings of accomplishment, real feelings of, hey, I worked on this. This is a huge obstacles, and overcoming these deep feelings, shame, guilt, worthiness, all this self-love, all this stuff is just so powerful if you can just get to a point where you say, hey, I accept myself. I accept that I'm human. I also love myself. I love the time and the work and the energy that I have to put into being a better human, and or just being just better in general, a better human being, you know. We can always, I truly am a believer that we can always do better, always. I don't think anybody's ever at a point where honestly you can't do better. You can always do better, but I am kind of a perfectionist myself, so that can also be a shadow side where it's always like, and I've experienced this in my own life, and it's like, you aren't good enough, and you ain't done this, and you ain't done that, and you're not this, and you're not that. I'm like, wait, I've done all this work, and like, you're not seeing it, and you're not acknowledging it, and then I want that acknowledgement, and I want seen for the work I've done, and not just saying, you know what, I know this has been good enough for me at this point. I've done everything I can do, and I will continue to do everything I need to do and can do, but I can't rely on others to validate my worth, my direction, and my work. That's been a very hard thing for me personally. So that could be something, you know, it's just on a side note, it could resonate with somebody. But when somebody wants you to keep doing more and more and more and more, you know, do it for you, not for them. Don't do it to appease somebody else or to get their validation or their acknowledgement or their respect. Do it because you know you can. Do it because you know you can do better. Do it because you know you can take the higher road, or you know you can work on your guilt, your shames. You know you can admit, hey, I'm human. I'm good. You know, do what you can for yourself. That's another side note, you guys. So on a lighter note, we're going to get a spiral oracle. This will be a little lighter. I just wanted to get that blind spot in there because I do feel like this is really important right now, you guys. Sorry, I got talked for quite a bit on that one, but the gift. I love this. This is the card. The gift. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can kind of see it. It's kind of dark in here, but let's go ahead and read the gift. Okay, this feels really resonate. What is my place? Am I giving myself the space that I deserve, that quiet time, that sacred moment? Those sacred moments, or are you distracting yourself from doing some deeper work here? Am I giving myself the space that I deserve? I am like an antenna, receiving frequencies and spreading vibrations within and around me. I am an essential part of the process that is creating this world. Everything that I emit is manifesting in every part of my life, of my universe. I have come here to learn something from this earthly experience. I am here to offer the maximum potential of my human avatar. Now I decide to heal my relationship with authority, finding my own. I take my place, the place that I deserve. I have the responsibility to manifest my power. Life is a gift. Receive, honor, and utilize this ultimate offering. The keyword is authority. It says I go back to my natural state. I am firm in my access and I manifest my will. And that is what your reading is saying with this chariot and this magician on the bottom. This is about manifesting your will, but not rebelling, rejecting, or deflecting. Maybe that you haven't taken your power and manifested your will and blaming it on others, or saying, you know, or just getting off the subject of like why something might not be happening for you. Or maybe you haven't dealt with something deeper here, with a lesson that you've been learning, something about maybe you have had to look at some shames and some guilts, and that maybe aren't even your fault. You know, that's the thing it did say. It may not even be your fault. It may be something you just have learned and you're carrying and need to do some root work, some shadow work. It could just be, there's just so much, you guys, to existing and learning and growing. And let's get you guys a surrender card, and that will wrap up your guys' reading. I hope everybody's doing well. I love this. Okay, this goes awesome. Surrender worry. I love this. It goes with the stress of the day card that was pulled. It's just about really releasing this worry, this stress. You're going through a process right now that is exactly what you need to be going through. Doing that work, digging a little deeper, maybe looking at your blind spots, maybe looking at what you are creating, or maybe you're deflecting from creating. Maybe you're not creating because you're maybe afraid. Maybe there's a fear there. Maybe you're not using your time wisely. I'm also getting that with this sacred moments and this wise prophet, foresee the path. Maybe you need to spend a little more time grounding, meditating, kind of just thinking, not thinking about others or deflecting from what you need to do. But it says, make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that Spirit is guiding you always. I love that. Spirit is guiding you always. You are going through some there feels like some deep work here. Maybe you are feeling some kind of way about how you belong or don't belong, or putting yourself into something or not putting yourself into something. Maybe you're feeling some kind of shames or guilt about rejecting somebody or something in your life. Maybe there's been some kind of rejection here. I am getting that. So I just want to say, you know, we've all been through it. You're not alone, Capricorn. I'm here for you. Send you lots of good mojo, but where there's a will, there's a way. And you are the creator in your life of your energy, where you put your energy, where you're going, and what you do with the time you have. So if you have quiet time to sit back, ground yourself, really get into the deep nitty gritty and change something about yourself that makes you feel like a better human, a better person, a more balanced being, then do that. You'll feel it. You'll feel grateful for it in the long run, even though it's hard work. Shadow work's never easy, you guys. I say that a lot. It's not easy. It's not easy stuff. But it's worth it. It's worth it. So hope everybody's doing well. I appreciate you guys coming and watching your video. I appreciate you guys' likes, your subscribes, all of your support, you guys. I can't thank you enough. So hope everybody has a good day, and I will talk to you later.